Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Box Seat. I'm Mark Warwood. 8 races at Belmont on Wednesday. We're expecting showers, maybe to ease throughout the day. A cold day, 16 degrees Celsius. The track to be a soft 5 and the rail to be in the 12-metre position. Race number 1 at Belmont on Wednesday will jump at 1:14. It's the 5th leg maiden over 1,200 metres. The replay horse can look at the last start of Wakantanka at Pinjarra Park.
Mankind over towards the middle is Sweet Girl, 1 Point Lady. Short Memories just behind those and starting to get a narrow gap between horses and work into the race as well. As Pike goes to work on Mankind, he quickly races up, grabs the lead from them with 150 to go from Wakantanka leading man. It's Wakantanka fighting back. He has to draw the whip now on Mankind, but he's going to do too well. Mankind wins it from Wakantanka.
Race number 1 is a tough way to kick off the Wednesday card. I've ended up with number 6 here, Wakantanka. I think he competed quite well against some of the state's top 2-year-olds last season, and he resumed with a second, as we saw in the replay, down the straight at Pinjarra Park. He was pretty close to free mover in a recent trial. I'll just look at his form around the likes of Chicks Picks and Lord Help Me Run, and I do think it might be a little bit better than some of his rivals here. Goes on top from number 2, Seconda Vita. She's third up on Wednesday. She was held up the first part of the straight last start. Did come home reasonably well in the last couple of 100 metres. Has clashed against Dream Alliance, who's also in this race twice in recent times and has won both of those head-to-heads. That brings me on to number 1, Dream Alliance, over in WA, having been with Henry Dwyer in Victoria last campaign. Possibly choked down last start. There's a few gear changes, noseband and the tongue tie goes on. I'm willing to forgive that run, but the first up run he was behind Seconda Vita. And then number 7, Deception Game for Durant and Pike, did debut in a non-maiden race and then has been okay in 2 maidens. I just think this horse might be a little bit too short in the market given what it's got in the book. My top selection in race number 1, I'm going to go with number 6, Wakantanka, to beat 2, Seconda Vita, 1, Dream Alliance and 7, Deception Game. Race number 2 at Belmont on Wednesday will jump at 1:49. It's the Sweps Handicap over 1,200 metres. The replay horse can look at the trial of Valago at Lark Hill.
Track and in fact starting to push through in the centre is Magic Planet. Wider on the track is Valago, trying to get a needle eye opening now. As they head down the straight is Route 88 and UMI is behind an absolute wall. It's incarcerated down the straight inside the last 175. The inside Rebellionaire, Magic Planet, Route 88 and down the outside is Valago. But an all-the-way performance for Rebellionaire. It wins by 2 at the line. Second.
Delago does a hell of a lot wrong, but I do think he's probably got more ability than his rivals in race number 2. He started poorly in his first race and he still got the chocolates that day. That was at York back in October. He beat Soundcheck. He raced really ungenerously as well and was wide throughout, but still won by a neck. And he did the same thing in the trial, started very poorly and then tacked on and finished second behind Rebellionaire. I do think he can overcome his shortcomings here to win this race, and I do think he's got a bit of ability. Goes on top from number 3, Clever Dick, who's having its second run since a 12-week break. He's on the quick backup from that very fast run race last week, won by Nobelium. I'm not sure as to whether he's going to come out of that race with a positive or a negative. It could have tightened him up or it could have knocked him for 6. We'll see. Clever Dick goes in for second. Number 1, UMI, will be second up on Wednesday. Was 2 lengths behind Valago in the trial that we saw in replay. And then number 4, Chenery Red. Both of its city placings have been on a wet track. That's what we're expecting to find on Wednesday afternoon. My top selection in race number 2, going to go with number 6, Valago, to beat 3, Clever Dick, 1, UMI and 4, Chenery Red. Race number 3 at Belmont on Wednesday will jump at 2:24. It's the Hahn Super Dry Handicap over 1,200 metres. It's restricted to the girls, and one of those is number 6, Dance Music. Let's have a look at her winning debut.
Coming up towards a home turn, just in front, You're the One for Me. Shibata Fox is on the outside with Fork Handles, and now the favourite slides to the outside. Dance Music is starting to run home powerfully. Here it comes. Dance Music is quickly coming after Fork Handles. Fork Handles just in front, but Dance Music has sped up. Shot to the front for Pike, and it's all over. Looks smart. Sprints away from Fork Handles, Miss Mandy, and a brilliant win to Dance Music.
Dance Music had won a couple of trials leading into her first competitive appearance, and boy, she was really impressive at Northern. The time that she ran was about 5 lengths faster than the class benchmark for an 1100 metre maiden at the track, and I think she'll go on with it here. She'll be very, very hard to beat. I think you can throw a blanket probably over the rest of the field. So I'm going to put in number 2 for Lion Machine for second. Beat the unlucky Kelly Secret 2 starts ago. That horse has come out and won a maiden on a Saturday. Sean O'Donnell keeps the ride. He dropped the whip at the 100 metres last start. Only finished half a length behind Lucky Linda Lulu, who's also in this race. Who is my third selection, number 5, Lucky Linda Lulu. Was held up until the 200 last start. Did fly home, but was very inconvenienced from the 4 to the 2. It's got some good head-to-heads here with a number of horses, and as I say, it's pretty even after the top one. And then number 3, Tips and Scandals. Got a bit of time for this horse. Has got the bar plates on, but she does live in a really nice family it comes from as well. Just think that the 1200 metres might be a little bit short here. I'd love to see her over 1400 later in her campaign. My top selection in race number 3, going to go with number 6, Dance Music, to beat 2, Flying Machine, 5, Lucky Linda Lulu, and 3, Tips and Scandals. Race number 4 at Belmont on Wednesday will jump at 2:59. It's the Tab Touch Better Your Bet maiden over 1400 metres. Bet with Tab Touch, the brand that funds the industry. The horse we're going to look at is the trial of Sentimental Gift at Lark Hill.
Place on the outside, Sentimental Friend, back to the inside, Margarine, Moderator, Bazza Brown, wider, and now starting to wind up down the centre of the track as they head down the straight is Bruletta 5. It's still Uga Chaka well clear. It still has a 3-length margin inside the 150. Daring Soleil, Sentimental Friend getting over the ground well, but Uga Chaka all the way in the 4th, goes on the win comfortably. Second.
That was the third of Sentimental Gift's 3 trials, 1 in January, 1 in May, and the latest in August. She's the full sister of the WATC Derby 5th place getter, Sentimental Friend, and she has improved with each of those 3 trials. In what I think a pretty shallow maiden, she goes on top more on suspicion and on pedigree than anything else. I think the might be number 2, Nicklaus. He's having the second run of its campaign, and Glenn Smith keeps the ride. He rode it last start when he finished behind Regal Power, another horse in the Cerise and White of Peters Investments, had the fastest last 200 metres in that race. Another horse that ran into a Peters Investments horse last start was Light My Day from the Reese Radford stable. Finished a length behind True Attraction, led and tried to lead all the way in that race and kept on quite well to only go down by a narrow margin. And then number 9, the query horse for mine, is Argyle Miss. On the quick backup, 3rd run this campaign. Had the fastest sectionals all the way home last start, but it was off a slow tempo. Actually, she settled 3rd last in the run. My top selection in race number 4, going to go with number 12, Sentimental Gift, to beat 2, Nicklaus, 3, Light My Day, and 9, Argyle Miss.